the most admirable chasers you could possibly wish to see.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Racehour podcast, brought to you with Gambling.com and of course our friends at Betfred. I don't think I've been on this year, so welcome back to Dean Ryan. Hi. Hi, how are you? Diarmuid Nolan is here.
Hello, Dino. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, Diarmuid. Me and you have been talking away.
I've seen too much of you this year, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's always the case once we hit April time. A man I see quite a lot of, but not often in this format, is Gary Connolly. Gary, how are you?
All good, mate. All good. Just what a perfect start to Easter, being on the Racehour with the triumphant return of the one and only Dean Ryan. So cannot contain my excitement this morning.
It's a unique experience for the Racehour this year, and you deserve it, Gary. You fully deserve it. Of course, we are through a good bit of the jump season. In fact, reaching the very embers of it as we approach Fairyhouse for their iconic Grand National meeting. 3 days of great racing. I'll be there, of course. It's a stone's throw from my house, as I'm sure I've said on here a few times. And well, what we're lucky enough to get this week is I actually caught up with Peter Roe, who's 15 years in the job at Fairyhouse, and will be departing this time to go and look after other Irish racecourses with the HRA. Great man, done great things for the meeting. We'll talk to him after we talk about some of the big races. First one we're going to talk about this weekend is, of course, the Irish Grand National. Goes to post in that 5 o'clock slot on Monday night. We had a forfeiture stage yesterday, which means that a lot of the kind of big fancied runners, I would say big name runners, I'm not sure they will always come in here, have decided to go elsewhere. But Horseracing is going to go for Rebecca Curtis, of course, a ready winner at the Cheltenham Festival. Now is the hour who faced up there and just come a cropper, but might not have got it done. High class hero Johnny Hugh, Better Days Ahead, Daily Present, another Cheltenham Festival winner. I think it's a really good field this year. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, cracking little race, very competitive. The one I'm siding with, I came down with, is last year's winning stable, Tom Gibney. I think they're going to win it with Kintour Calanisi here. It looks like to me it's been the plan. He came third in a handicap hurdle at this festival last year, and they've probably been working backwards since from here. He's been aggressive enough this season. Improving each run. Last time out in the Leinster National, he was galloping all over them and unseated 2 out. I think he would have won easy enough here. Probably a bit of a blessing in disguise. He comes here off the same mark, 135. Looks properly well treated to me off that, and I think there's a lot more improvement, even stepping up to this extended distance. Ticks a lot of boxes for me. He's generally 12 to 1, bit of 16s out there. So, yes, strong enough selection for me in the Irish National.
Yeah, and Tom Gibney, of course, responsible for the winner last year with Intense Raffles, who just didn't get conditions at Aintree this time round to improve that wonderful record Irish national runners have in the Aintree showpiece. Kintour Calanisi, former free card brag as well. I'm always going to give that a big tick. That was in January, of course, at Navan, and has also gone round Fairyhouse as well, albeit over a short trip earlier in the season behind Judices Allen. Under Kieran Buckley. I imagine Kieran Buckley might be on if all is good. So Kintour Calanisi, interesting runner there for the Gibneys, and bidding for a back-to-back in the Irish National. Dermo, give us your thoughts on the big one.
First of all, on Gary's pick, he is one of the most talented horses off that kind of mark, but he is just an absolute rogue of a horse. He will not put his head in front. So sometimes a national
3, 2, 2.
Oh, he's so talented. I love horses like this. I'm not knocking Gary for that selection. He's a very good horse, but that horse will not stick his head in front. I am on 2 here. First of all, I think Haiti Colors is a cracking favourite for this race. That was
must have a huge chance.
Massive. That was a really good performance at Cheltenham. Captain Cody's come out since. Now is the hour. Is there a horse who's been handicapped as harshly before, considering, I think it's just because he's trained by Gavin Cromwell. He's gone up £16 for finishing 4th in a race two runs ago. Basically, he went up £10 for falling at Cheltenham.
Was behind 3 card brag, Diarmuid Nolan.
I know, but dearest God, and I know he wasn't at a whole lot that day, but £16 rise, £10 rise the last time. 141 in Ireland might not be him. He just might not be that well handicapped now anymore. While Haiti Colors runs off levels with him here, and all I heard afterwards was about a gang of lads who knew the owner, and Keith Dunn, who apparently got off and said that he thought he was beaten anyway. Haiti Colors galloped all over them. He's only off 141 here in Ireland. This is very clever placing from the Curtis stable, and off 141. I just struggle to see what beats him, Dean. I really do, and this is mad. I never pick a favourite, especially for a national, but I'm struggling to see what beats him here.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think Keith Donahue softening the blow after defeated Cheltenham. Of course, their horse had fallen, and they were still in the mix. And it's hard to know. I don't think anything would have caught
I don't think
Horticolors
so.
up the running. Just did it so comfortably. You'll definitely want to listen to Peter Roe after we've gone through the national here, and here we're here to say he's been talking to Rebecca about the horse ever since they crossed the line. They're his words, not mine. So you'll catch that after this. I mean, you always get a great story in the Irish National. What do we think about daily presence chances for the Nolans? Obviously, a winner beat Johnny Who, who's going to reoppose. Another Cheltenham rematch in the same race. That's what you want. What do you think of his chances, Dermo?
Big chance. I just, I always struggle with horses backing up from a race as tough as the Kinweir. The only reason I'm kind of making an exception here for Horseracing is just that he kind of had an easy enough win round, really. He done it away. Well, Daily Present, that was a serious performance, monstrous effort, brilliant ride, but it was a tough performance. Johnny Hewitt kicked clear. He caught him late on. He has his chance. It's all up to how Paul Nolan and his team have this horse back. There is enough time, but if it was me now, I just value the old National Hunt chase form over that Kinweir. That's all, especially after what Captain Cody did in the Scottish National.
That's fair. It's obviously been boosted already. Gary, I mean, Johnny Who, John Joe O'Neill has backed up one in here. I think Butler's Cabin did it after a disappointing run at Cheltenham, actually, to come and win. They bring Johnny Who. So it seems to be the only real JP McManus runner. There are a couple other in the field, but certainly the one that's threatening at the top of the market. Give him a chance.
Yeah, I think he turned around the Cheltenham form anyway. He got mugged late on, and the mistake at the last, I think if he didn't make...
Kind of felt like he should have won then, didn't he?
Yeah, so probably the one that got away, but as Demo said, it was a hard enough race. So he has his chance, but looks short enough to me. The National Hunt form, I would actually give a life to Duffelcoat in that. He was in the process of running a big race. He got brought down 2 out by the fall, and now it's the hour. I don't think he was beat when he came down. I think he would have at least got second. And he looks a wild price. He tipped up early in the Aintree National. So yeah, didn't get a run there, and he'd be one for the each way players now, I think.
Yeah, down at the third, I think, at Aintree, Duffelcoat, and of course had a couple of big performances in. It's almost like sporadic, aren't they? He pops up, runs really well, just runs a stinker. Gordon Elliott off. Yeah, you imagine Danny Gilligan might get on. Big price, 33 to 1. I was hoping that Max Charm snuck in. I know he's 10 years old. Cole Murphy around Fairyhouse. I give them a big chance at a three-digit price. It's going to be 100 to 1 or so. But it's 36. It'll need another few to drop out to get in there. I did think the credentials of Horticolors were outstanding, and quite rightly so, at the top of that market. If it runs the same race, it's going to be very hard to beat back off that Cheltenham form. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll listen to Peter Roe now about Fairyhouse. Yeah, go ahead.
One other big one. I like Melina's Girl an awful lot here as well. That was a huge run. In the Ultima, all the horses who she was one of the only ones to come from the back of the field to actually nearly land a blow. Now Meyertown was gone, but Meyertown and the Changing Man, they rather dominated that whole race. It's very hard to kind of come from the back. She did, and she looked like a horse that day who would appreciate further. She handled the ground. At 20 to 1 for a horse with her back class, she's very interesting, I think, there as well. Very interesting. That was a big run, that Ultima, especially just, again, the horses from the back of the field. And there's a horse there behind her, the Short Go, ran a very big race in the Aintree National. They were all landed in the bundle from the back. So she's 20 to 1. I think that's a big price for a horse of her ability.
Yeah, big price. Could be, maybe the better of the Cromwell options after that fall that Now Is the Hour had. Anything else at a big price you want to throw in, Gary, before we do hear from Peter Roe from Fairyhouse and let him give us his steer on the race and the 3 days coming up at Fairyhouse?
I think we have plenty in there. We don't want to be taking half the field. So yeah, between us, surely we might have one that would go well for us.
Well, what have we got to talk about if we don't name the winner on this? We need to get there. I think myself and Diarmuid Nolan are big keen on Horticolors being the right one, I think. And at least you've gone for slightly something at a bigger price. Gibney's to back up last year's win with intense raffles with Kinta Calanisi. Okay, let's hear from Peter. We'll be back after this. Okay, well, welcome back. It's Dean Ryan, of course, on the Racehour for Gambling.com. I've got Peter Roe here, General Manager at Fairyhouse, but not for much longer, Peter. What if? It might be the last time I call you. Why are you?
Well, a lot of people will be delighted to see me move on. No, I've got a very exciting new job as head of racing for the 4HRI tracks. That's Leopardstown, Navan, Tipperary, and of course here in Fairyhouse. It'll be exciting. It's working on very much the racing side in terms of the race track, race programming, race fixtures, liaising with the industry people, again attracting horses to come over and run here at our meetings, particularly in Leopardstown for the Whirlpool and then their major race. So it's a very exciting new job, and it changes as good as the rest, and I'm really relishing taking over the new role, and it starts in July. My last meeting at Fairyhouse will be Dinosaur Day here as our family day, so a lot of people say very appropriate.
Hey, look, an important day in the calendar for the local where I live.
And no day all around.
Absolutely. Well, look, congratulations on that. I mean, look, there's a matter at hand, of course, because we're getting ready for the Irish Grand National, the Ball Sports Irish Grand National. And it's going to take place on Monday. We're at the forfeit stage, so I think you've been busy today watching the rain land, which you probably needed, and dealing with who's actually going to come. Because you mentioned there that one of the new parts of your new role will be encouraging horses to come across and race in these big race meetings across Ireland. You've always done a very good job at that. At the top of this market for the Irish Grand National, Horticolores looks like it's going to go off somewhere near the top of the market. Get one over from the UK.
Yeah, well, look, I've been speaking to Rebecca nearly since she passed the post Horticolores at Cheltenham, because I thought this was a horse that fit right into the profile. To see him, and of course Daily Present, another Cheltenham winner for Paul Nolan, which would be great. Johnny who nearly won at Cheltenham for the O'Neill family and JP. Look, it's going to be a very competitive race. It's had better days ahead as the current top weight, with down to Moon over Clune at the moment is the bottom at 133 getting in. Gavin, sorry?
30th spot for that one, is it?
30th spot. Look, I think you'll probably have 2 or 3 might come out at the next forfeit stage. So I think second and third, and then, as I said, we've declares then for another reserves until Sunday, and at Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, then the reserves are out of the race, and then we know exactly what it is. But look, it's going to be another very informative race. Like you've sequestered in there for the Gilligans. That'll be another great story. Lord Lariat will be bidding, I think, to won the first horse to regain his Grand National crown. I'm not, and again for Dermot McLaughlin, horse was off. He's just back at 2 runs back, and he's just getting ready to go. And so, and the softer ground, you'd love to see him run another big race.
Yeah, there was a time for a couple of years where he was the only trainer who could get an Irish Grand National win. It wasn't
exactly,
but local stories are great.
Yeah, and Tom Gibney last year.
Yeah,
and I think he's a very good chance again with Cantor Calanese. Would have probably won the last day running at Naas in the Leinster National, fell at the second last. I think he could be he could be a very close, but I think it's going to be a very informative race, and it'll be hard. The winner, as normal, would be hard picked.
I'm gonna press you for a selection on it. Not right now, Peter. Towards the end, right? I'm gonna press you for your selection because you can't get any closer to the action than yourself. Obviously, chatting to all of these trainers.
Well, I'll go for it now, because in the very beginning it would be Rebecca Curtis's Horticolore. And then from the local, the other side, I'd love to see Paul Nolan and the Nolan team. They've Daily Present. If it's the stories behind them, and that would be another. And I think he's a very reasonable chance. Kinter Calanese for last year's Tom Gibney. They would be, if I had to do a tri-cast, I think there's the 3 I'd put in at the moment.
Horticolores, Kinter Calanese, and Daily Present would be a valuable one to land. Let's be honest. What's the ground going to run like? We got this rain now finally after what has been an exceptionally dry couple of weeks around Ratoath.
Look,
very hard.
We've only had 0.2 mil rain since 2 mil rain since the 22nd of March. It's been very dry. We have been watering, and I've been very straight up. We have been watering. We were watering right up to yesterday with the ground good yielding. We couldn't take the chance that the rain would come up short. I think Portlaoise has had very little rain today. That's only 50 miles east of here, and we couldn't take a chance that the rain would, and we wouldn't get it. So we had to water. Yes, might go yielding to soft in the morning when it's had the full day to soak in. I would think yielding will be the predominant ground come Monday. A couple of dry days, a bit of rain on Friday. but mainly dry then Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So if you were to ask me, I think yielding will be the term to be used. I do not see the word good coming into the going description from now on.
Okay. I mean, like, you have a bit of fresh ground to utilize, don't you? It's a bit.
Oh yes, we've fresh ground for the 3 days, and it's a lovely. I think it'll be ideal racing conditions, and I'm very happy with it.
Excellent. And I mean, traditionally, it's been a fantastic trial for the UK Grand National, hasn't it? And you've had some great horses come through. If you're there now 15 years, right? This is your 15th Grand National bar. It's with COVID.
Yeah.
So in that time, I mean, you talk about stories attached to the Irish Grand National, and often a story develops because that horse goes on to win at Aintree. But the local stories, some of the winners you've had, considering this is your last one, what was the best one?
They've all, it's hard to ask me which was the best. My first one, Organised Confusion, Arthur Moore, Nina, that was a very special day. Doc Love's winning hers, that was a big day. Lean Barney, Tom Gibney's first one. General Principle in the muck and the rain of 20 years.
And that with JJ Slevin's face, you could barely see him.
Exactly. And I think there was 5 jumping the last together.
Exactly. I was some.
Willie's first one, Burrow Saint. Very impressive. Our Duke, I suppose, knowing the Cooper family syndicate, if I was really pushed and pushed to push one, that would probably be it. Like, he took up the running at the 9th last, the top of the fence, Ballyhack, and he looked awesome, and he just galloped them into the ground. And so if you're to push me for one, it would probably be Our Duke, because unfortunately met a setback the following year. Didn't really get to show his full potential. But, there's been so many great stories. I Am Maximus, he was the first horse, I would say, ever to do the Fairyhouse Triple Crown, which was and very much in reverse, he won an Irish National, a Drinmore, and a Bobby Joe.
Yeah, remarkable. And do you know, with the way that the race has changed in the UK version of the race, because they've altered it several times in keeping with modern times, right, Peter? So we don't need to get into that. But the Irish National being that trial for it, I think it's quite remarkable that I Am Maximus could win what the test is of an Irish National and cope with the new demands of an Aintree National. He's a special horse.
Yeah, and I think you need a lot more class. And I think when you see about 3 of the first 4 from the top of the weights, I think it's a very different horse that's now required to win an English National. I think the Irish National is a very fair test. You've 24 fences, 3 lovely fences going up Ballyhack, and the jockeys get a chance to settle then across. It's touch wood. It's a race that we've a high number of finishers, but it's amazing. I think it's quite unique. If you look about the 4th, 5th last fence in the Irish National, there's about 15 or 16 horses you'd always say that could win it. And half those could be pulled up before they get to second last, because they're not, it's the only time really they're allowed to go there. The 3 mile 2 is not the problem. It's the last 2.5, 3 furlongs.
It's a deceptive climb, isn't it?
And it is. And I think the temperatures next week, it's not going to be that hot. It's going to be cool, low double figures. So, and overcast, and that's kind of what you want. 5 o'clock in the day, ground I think it'll be ideal. So all these things are very much pointing in the right direction, is where we want to go.
Yeah, and we've got that remarkable matchup of a couple of Cheltenham races and the 1-2s returning, and it's gonna be exactly as you said, a great informative race for towards the end of the season calendar. I mean, reflecting on your time at Fairyhouse, Peter, what's the legacy you think you leave behind with this? This has become an iconic meeting, but it was a big meeting before that. You came in and brought it forward. But what do you think your legacy would be?
I think it was Joe Keeling. I was chairman of HRI at the time, and he said, look, we need, and Pat Byrne, our chairman here, said, we need to make it was just kind of, and I said, we need to get this. So we went from 275,000 to 500,000.
Yeah.
And that suddenly brought it into into top of everyone's attention. And, it's the next stage now. We've the quality of horse. And then also another major thing I think which we've done is we've now gone Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we're building up. The Tuesday used to be a very good card, but like everyone was it was like after the
it's still up
after the Mayor's Ball, and then now it's build up. The Sunday card, the Saturday card. I suppose if people say what legacies is, there'd never been a ladies' chase in Ireland until we went looking for it.
Yeah,
there's now both of them here at Fairyhouse. At the time it was Nina, Katie, Rachel was just getting going, and it took a bit of perseverance. We now run Ladies Chase at both a Winter Festival and at Easter Festival. And that, and it's Fred Kenny, who was the doctor to the jockeys and such a popular man, and his son Paddy is now looking after the jockeys, and the two of them have sponsored, put the name to the race. I think that's is a great thing to have as well, And look, we've done a lot of things, but the one thing, and I always said this is very much a team effort. We have a great team on the track. Led now, Richard Stapleton, Noel Fanning was the previous person, and they've done a great job. Gillian Carey doing operations, my hospitality team, my marketing team, Trevor doing in facilities. All these people, it does take a lot of it. If you take here Easter Monday, there'll be about 150 people working directly for Fairyhouse, plus you have your caterers, your totem rights. It's a big operation, and working with the local guards, the local civil defence and everyone to put on a great event, and it's all important. It all has to work, and it's very much a team put together. The Boyle Sports Irish Grand, and we build up to 5 o'clock, and the last couple of years in terms of the young people and the scene before the Grand National, it's a very gets the hairs standing in the back of your neck, and that's and I suppose one other thing is that we have fixed the time of 5 o'clock on Easter Monday, so we know exactly what we're going. It's on the top of the hour. It's a good, it's due to the improvement of the race and everything else. It's all very positive, but it's building around the event, and that's what we want to do.
It's become a huge. I mean, I'm a blow-in to the local area, right? I'm here the bones of 20 years and been going along, but it's become a huge community event when my children are deciding at 16 and 12 that they have to go. You're doing something right, because we need that generation to invest in the sport. And it's all they've been talking about for a couple of weeks. In fact, I think the 16-year-olds are the new 19-year-olds in terms of going racing. They can't wait to go there. So I think a big thank you from the local community for that, but also from the racing side of it, encouraging these horses to come over and be part of another big festival in Irish racing is so important. And
well, I think this time around it's Rebecca Curtis. She's bringing over 6 horses over the 3 days.
It's not just
in the
one race.
Yeah, and Nigel Twiston Davis, John Joe O'Neill is bringing over 2, and that's because relationships have been built up over time.
Yeah,
Harry Durham was all set to come as horseman draw, and he was disgusted because Dan Skelton started off one of his big winners here, Ollie Murphy, 12 months ago with and they like coming here. We like to give them, and we're relatively near the airport, and you can't be competition from the other side. We go and take a lot out of England, so it's nice for them to come back, and it's going to be an exciting with UK runners, particularly now with Rebecca. Rebecca will have 6. I probably could have 4 or 5 other UK trained horses over the weekend, so it'll be exciting. We're very much looking forward to it, and it's great to have. I think the forecast is going to come right. Look, there'll be mainly dry tomorrow, some rain on Sunday into or Saturday and Sunday morning, or Friday and Saturday morning, and then it's mainly dry from there till close of play on Monday. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but that's what I'm looking at. I said I'll find the app to find me that weather forecast.
Yeah, you'll find the one that tells you the right. That's what you want, and that's what you'll talk about. Look, it makes a lot of sense. The top class racing over 3 days. I think there's well over £1 million now in private money across all the different races, right? So it's not just about the Monday and the big race, couple of other Grade 1.
Well, Sunday, it's amazing. We talked about Saturday, I heard about Sunday, and Sunday the 2 cracking Grade 1s, the Willow Warm Gold Cup, very informative race again. Gallopin Deschamps has won it, Arkle has won it, all the Album Photo has won it, all the big horses, and it has a great reputation. Last year's Spillans Tower for Jimmy Mangan, another cracking, and this year's contest looks like it's going to be another very informative running of it,
Yeah.
And the mares, the Honeysuckle, look, with the 1st, 2nd and 4th still in from the Cheltenham race, which is only Grade 2, as I love to keep saying. There's a Grade 2, mine's a Grade 1. 6.5.
They only prep at Cheltenham for that.
That's only a prep, and I keep saying it, and I don't think they really like me saying that, but I keep going that.
It's fine. Yeah.
But I think that's going to be very. Look, it's 6.5 and air of endearment. our entitlement, Aurora Vega, who of course won the Solarina, which is generally a good prep. Maureen, who got no luck. Caroline Bamboo, maybe didn't quite show us there, but I think she'll benefit from the extra trip here. I think this one will be a very competitive and very informative race again.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, it's going to be a fantastic 3 days. I wish you all the very best for it.
Dean, as ever, thank you very much, and thank you for all your help. And it's to support so many people. We have a great product racing. It's great to see so many people interested. So it's great to have the opportunity to talk about a great weekend at Fairyhouse this weekend.
Well, good luck to you, the team, in your future endeavours, of course.
You won't lose me that easy.
No, I bet that's a fact. All right, and thank you for the TriCast and the big one. Hopefully it comes off. And
but this way, it's like Nick, Luck and Lydia. They have their chance or no chance, and of course they gave their no chance to Nick Rocket this year, so that kind of showed them up. So.
We're all playing that game, and we all get it wrong. But that's the beauty of racing, isn't it? Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Best of luck to you and the team, Gillian and the crew there. And we'll talk to you again in your new role, no doubt. Take care.
Thank you very much, Dean.
Okay, welcome back to the Race Hour. Of course, it's myself, Dean Ryan, Gary Connolly, and Diarmuid Nolan here on it's a special edition as we head into the Easter weekend. That was Peter Roe you just heard from Fairyhouse, departing my local course, which is a sad day because, like Dinosaur Day and all the other iconic things he's done to the local community, it's been a brilliant time to have him around there. He has given us a TriCast for the big race. In fact, it includes Gary Connolly's selection, Kinturk Calanese. Now, if he lands that, he'll be even a bigger hero. And he is already. Okay, chaps, look, some other big races at Fairyhouse this weekend, which of course were mentioned just there. Let's kick off with the Willow Warm Gold Cup, the Grade 1 that goes to post there on Sunday at Fairyhouse. Ballyburn, Il Atlantique, Spindleberry, Champ Kylie, Fun, Slade Steel, a decent top 5 in the betting. It looks like they're all going to run, don't I? Assume they will.
Yeah, absolutely cracking contest this. First of all, Ballyburn, you have to take him on. You just have to. That was a really, really bad performance at Cheltenham, and he would have been left behind there, absolutely left for dead. Bar that, so the fact that weirdly Danny Mullen seemed to slow it down in front from, he was finished. So over this trip, I'm very keen there to take him on. I really like Spindleberry at 9-2. She was brilliant last time. She'll like the ground. She'll get £7 from all these. Willie Mullins has done this before with a mare here, and she was excellent last time. Really, really good. Jump for fun, and over 2.5 miles. Oh, I'm very close to making her a proper bet now. I really, really like her in this.
Do you know what, Demo? I got a sneak at Gary Connolly's notes for this call. So I think Thunder has been stolen. Everything has been done here to put him right on the back foot. Spindleberry, you like him, Gary?
Yeah, I really like her now.
Oh, sorry, Harry, of course.
I thought she might have been missed in the market, to be honest, because she's not probably as sexy profile as the other Mullins runners. But yeah, a lot to like. This is a track all her best runs come at Fairyhouse. She missed the mares to have a crack at this. Ballyburn's going to make the market anyway. He'll probably go off a bit shorter than he's been put in, I would say. And yeah, 9-2 available now is more than fair, and I think she'll put her right up to them. And I think she's a really good mare now, and strong bet as well.
You don't think the Ballyburn supporters, having had fingers burnt a couple of times this year, will just give up? I mean, the shades of odds against around for Ballyburn now should turn up in this. You think it could go off short again?
Yeah, these boys never learn. Once they get one of these sexy, high-profile horses that Mullins waxes lyrical about, he's this, he's that, they just never learn.
Yeah, all these Willie lovers,
get their fingers burnt, and they still go and try again. But yeah, you just can't be trusting a horse like that. He can't jump. He can't jump at all, and this mare can. And yeah, it's early Easter present.
Okay, all your Easter eggs come at once with Spindleberry. I realise I named like the top 5 in the betting, but basically I could have just said Willie Mullins, Henry de Bromhead. He's got Slade Steel, who will come in next in the betting. There is a Gordon Elliott horse in there I thought would have a chance if they do pitch up, and that's Firefox. I mean, a bit disappointing perhaps from what was expected of it from when it was a supreme novice hurdle contender, and never really kicked on after that. But give it any chance? You give me any chance of landing it with Firefox?
Well, he ran a screamer last time again. That novices handicap chase at Cheltenham was just like the ultimate. If you were at the back of the field, you were done. Those front three stayed the front three, jumped around. Caldwell Potter went from them. and the horses there in second and third just kept on trucking. So he ran an absolute screamer that day from the position he found himself in, but I don't know, he's not a proper full-on Grade 1 horse. I'd like to see him instead in that novices handicap chase at Punchestown. I think he'd go very close there, really, really close there.
Maybe they'll just keep running. It's odd that Willie Mullins would have, 5 over here when he's going for that UK Trainers Championship.
He just
You
has so
happy with
many
the fact
horses,
that-
he can do what he wants, I suppose, yeah.
How do you feel in general about him just, coming back over to the UK and mopping it up with battalions of runners in races that he probably didn't know were on until he was in with the chance of winning
crap.
the title again?
Yeah, it's horse racing's in a spot of bother here, and it needs to. I don't even know what it can do, but it's.
I didn't know I'd send you down that kind of, desperation
But it is.
stage there. Is that,
Yeah, it's not great, is it? It's not great.
not great.
No.
Okay. Gary.
I love it. I love it. Go over and plunder the English riches. The ample opportunity to come here and take him on, they don't. So he goes into their own backyard and takes them on. It just shows the embarrassment of riches he has.
And he still has 5 to run in a Grade 1 over 2 mile 4 at Fairyhouse on Sunday. I mean, it's quite remarkable stuff. Yeah. Okay. I mean, he went to the national there. And what did he get? 1, 2, 3, 5, 7?
And then the Scottish National was 1, 2, and 7, wasn't it? 1, 2, 7. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah. I've seen people on social media now say, "Oh, you don't need to study for him. You don't need to just back Willie Mullins in every race and back them all and don't care." And I can kind of see their point. I mean, I know it's not a great system, but you know what I mean.
It probably works. Yeah.
But it works when you're landing 100-1 winners at Cheltenham and 33-1 winners in the national, and it's like, "Oh, what you even?" I didn't bother asking him. I just backed that. Okay, all right. Look, yeah, exactly. All right, look, one of our favourite horses ever on the Racehour, of course. In fact, it should be called sponsored by Honeysuckle, but this year, of course, it's been Betfred. Is the Honeysuckle Mares Novices comes up at Fairyhouse as well. This one's a Grade 1. The Cheltenham race, of course, only a Grade 2. The Big Westerner is lined up in here, Dermot. I got to start with you because we talked about it all the way in the run up to Cheltenham. One of your better fancies of the Cheltenham Festival, just come up short there against, let's call it a sleeper, in Jasmine DeVoe. But 6-4 to get the job done and win a Grade 1 at Fairyhouse. Will it work?
I think she'll come out of that race the best horse as well. I think that Jasmine DeVoe just benefited from the Paul Townend highway as he seems to make it.
Yeah, it is something special. Yeah.
The rest of the jockeys seem to go up the inside. He just bounds up the outside past them all. He did it on Cargase. He does it on so many horses. I think that was the slight difference on the day. Paul Townend is just worth about £10 on the Friday at Cheltenham. I like her an awful lot. I don't like her over 2.5 miles at Fairyhouse. So I love this horse. Really love her. I think she's brilliant. But 2.5 miles here at Fairyhouse is not great now. I think 6.5 is going to take quite a lot of stopping here. I think she was very unlucky at Cheltenham. I think Keith Donoghue took Diva Luna seriously. He was one of the only Irish jockeys to take that horse seriously, tracked it through, ended up being the right move, but then ended up being in front a bit too long because he got there jumping the last. So he did everything right, but just all ended up happening was Rachel kind of relaxing away there. She jumped through. So Keith Donoghue, he'll wait a bit longer now, I'd say. And 6.5 at those odds. I think she's the best horse there in that division, especially over this trip. I think Big Westerner next year over 3 miles is going to be some sight, but I think 6.5 just over this trip now, I think will really suit her. And 4-1's a big price, team, very big price.
Yeah, 4-1 is where it's priced in for Gavin Cromwell. 6.5, of course, second to Air of Entitlement at Cheltenham. And Air of Entitlement will reoppose here. You've also got Aurora Vega, Maureen, who got no luck at all at Cheltenham. They're on their recovery mission. The riches are spread around a little bit more in this division. Gary, a couple of Henry de Bromhead horses at the top of the market.
Yeah, very tricky race now. Couldn't really make head or tail of it. I think it's step down and trip is against the Big Westerner. I'd probably say the step up and trip is against the 2 mares, the Cheltenham mares, the 6.5 and Henry's one. I think 6.5 will turn around that form. I thought that at the time, like whenever they line up again, that form will be reversed. But they're plenty short for a few question marks on the 3 of them. I'd probably take a little shot at Hey Sunshine, Willie Mullins' horse. Surprise, surprise. I thought she's just an improving sort. Form franked of her last win, and she could be just under the radar here. Maybe get double figures on the day. Small bet on her, but very tricky race, I thought.
Yeah. I do agree. It's very tricky. And, Willie Mullins, as I said, maybe sharing the riches around in here because we've got 2 Henry de Bromhead ones at the top and a Graven Conroe one before you find one in the betting. But there's loads of them still in here. And Maureen must be interesting. They were furious, weren't they, with what happened at Cheltenham and all the hype that went before it. I know it was a drifter on the day, and obviously everything went wrong. I was expecting slightly bigger price than 6s. I think you might get it. I'd be chancing that one each way, I think, taking a swing at the race. Also, they've got Caroline Bamboo in there. Just looks a good race. I think it would be justice if the Big Westerner got something back. I don't know, Demo. 2 mile 4, Fairyhouse, that steep incline. It might be okay.
I just think the old flat speed and everything else has never looked a non-stayer either. I just think was kind of edged out. So yeah, he'll be fine.
All right. Okay. Look, they're the big 3 at Fairyhouse. Of course, we are recording this on Thursday morning, so a few of the things could change in the decks. But I think we know what we're going to get. We're certainly going to get a very, very good and competitive Irish Grand National on the Monday. Anything else, Gary Connolly, from the weekend ahead? You can include, of course, Friday, seeing as we're doing this on Thursday morning. People will get plenty of time to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, 2 I'll throw into the mixer. So Friday, All-Weather Champions Day. I know primarily a jumps podcast, but we'll throw a flat one in every now and again.
As long as it wins, Gary, it's fine. I've always said this to Stephen Cass when he does it on here, and he gives you something for Dundalk. My only view is that it has to win, and if they don't, you've just wasted, a couple of minutes of my life and everyone else's.
No pressure then. Well, we have a winner, and we have a 16-1 winner. We're going to Newcastle, the 335 St. Lawrence in the sprint. Looks to be laid out for this race since probably late last year, should I say. He's had 3 quiet enough runs to qualify here. Marks dropped from 105 to 99. Last race in particular, very eye-catching. We'll say, without a whole pile of assistance in the saddle, was running on into 7th. Looks well treated here. 16-1 is just a wild price, and yeah, bang there for Holly Doyle. I think St. Lawrence wins. And then back over the Irish Sea for Saturday at Fairyhouse, Ballybourne belt that goes in the Mare's Chase. Probably not a decent little hurdler, and since switching to larger obstacles, been quiet enough. I thought she was very unlucky over Christmas at Leopardstown. She near got brought down at 4th last and done well to finish what she did. She finished 4th, staying on 4th behind Sequestered, who holds up. Remains off the same mark at 120. Looks very manageable, and once the handbrake is off here, she'll go very well at a likeable double figure price.
All right, that's Ballybourne Belter in the 320, of course, at Fairyhouse on Saturday. The Mare's Chase, Liz Doyle trains that 7-year-old. No better woman to get a job done at the Easter meeting, I would imagine. Dermot, do you have anything else for the weekend that you thought was of interest? I'm assuming you're not going to the all-weather at Newcastle.
I am not going to the all-weather at Newcastle, no, like that Vagrant and Connolly there. I really like Relieved of Duties at 5:05 on Saturday for Gordon Elliott. This was a horse who's finished 3rd behind like Salvador Mundi, who obviously franked that form at Aintree, has grade 1/grade 2 form all season, dropping into a handicap here of 130. This is the kind of horse that wins these end of season handicaps, or these novices that drop out of that company into this kind of company. That's one. In that same race though, if Relieved of Duties doesn't run, there's a horse called Amana, who's Diarmuid McLaughlin, who's a trainer who's really worth watching at this whole festival to see what gambles he might be having. He trains just down the road there, and he's landed 2 Grand Nationals with like 150-1 shots and stuff.
Sure, we just talked about him with Peter, and at one point, straight after COVID, he's the only man who could train an Irish Grand National winner. It took the 3rd running of the race since then for anyone else to get a look at.
He's brilliant across the board.
He's amazing.
Yeah. He gets a certain kind of horse, and Keith Dunn, who used to do the blog there on Bookmakers of Cottage UK, he was always singing his praises, saying he gets these horses that that other trainers mightn't be able to fix up. He fixes them up, gets them going again. He's a brilliant trainer, so he's one to follow there. The other one I like then is Young Lucy, who ran a blinder at Christmas behind Old Man Dingle and Tap on the Go. Tap on the Go has ran a big race at Cheltenham since. She went up to 3 miles last time, hated it. She's entered twice at Fairyhouse over 2.5 miles, back down to her right trip. That was a big run there Christmas. I'd like to see more headgear on her. She seems to lose her kind of thinking late on. But Tony Martin, Fairyhouse Festival at Easter, she's back down her right trip, and that run at Leopardstown at Christmas time, it's just a really, really good run. And she's extremely interesting. Pat's Fancy might run on Monday at Fairyhouse, Dino.
Oh my
Definitely
God.
for old time's sake, won't be back in them, but just, it's good to see. And then
I'll
last
get
but
a
not
picture
least,
for you. I'll send you a picture.
yeah, do please. And then last but not least, the 152 at Fairyhouse on Sunday. Down memory lane is a grade 2/grade 1 horse. We'll drop into a handicap here off top weight. There's one or two of these horses who are above this standard. The rest of them, like Tony Hills in that race as well. The rest of them are proper handicappers. If Down memory lane runs here, based off that Lecky Watson form even last time, I think Down memory lane will take an awful lot of stopping. Needs to jump a bit better, but this is a horse who's been trying grade 1 level a little bit lower all season. So again, Gordon Elliott, I fancy Gordon Elliott to have a good festival. His horses are only starting to come roaring now. He's had a very annoying season. His horses are kind of hitting the post all year. I think he'll have a good festival here, Dino.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I just wanted to mention one. Actually goes in that ladies' national handicap chase at Fairyhouse, where Where's Frankie just loves Fairyhouse. Will run for Carl Thornton. It probably not a race everyone's going to concentrate on, but I do think that'll be a reasonable bet, and I will be getting involved with that. Obviously, no prices yet, so if I've gone and scuppered them, I won't be getting involved. But we'll see. If you get there before me, it's no problem. Okay. Best bet of the Easter few days, please. Gary Connolly, you go first.
St. Lawrence tomorrow, all weather, Champions Day. We'll go with him. Long live the
Brilliant, Gary.
long live.
Yeah, magic. Super. Yeah, what do you fancy for the guineas? No, I'm joking. Right. Excellent, Gary. St. Lawrence at Newcastle, 16-1. I tell you what, at least you put up a decent price. There's no problem with that. Damo, best one of the weekend, please.
Spindleberry, the Willow Warm Gold Cup.
All right, bit of a race hour charge that with the two gents to either side of me fancying Spindleberry in the Willow Warm. I'm going to put up Firefox. I know you just said that Gordon Elliott is going to shake your heads away. But you know what? I'll let you have Spindleberry. I think Firefox is going to run a huge race. Just keep that on side at a decent price. I think there'll be a few bubbles popping at the end of the season there. It might not be that one. And in the national, we're just nailing our colours. I go Horticolors. Dermo's going to go
Horticolors with a reverse forecast to include Molina's Garden.
All right, fair. And Max Charm gets in. I will be getting involved. And Gary, we know you like Kinturk Calanese.
Kinturk win, Dufflecoat Place.
Dufflecoat Place. Lovely. All right. Well, my thanks to Peter Roe, of course, for joining us on the race hour ahead of the Fairyhouse Boy Sports Irish Grand National. My thanks to Diarmuid Nolan and, of course, Gary Connolly, to Cameron and Pierce and the chaps all handle the production over the course of the year. And, of course, Betfred, who've been the sponsors of the race hour for the whole of the jump season. Big thank you. Thanks to all of you lot for listening. I've been Dean Ryan for one time only. See you later. Diarmuid Nolan, Gary Connolly. Goodbye.
Relentless, remorseless, and pounded Cordon Star into submission.